this is what I love about Ram Dass. One of my teachers is Ram Dass. You've heard of him? This guy wrote Be Here Now.
Yeah.
It rings a bell.
He was hanging out with Tim Leary at Harvard, and they were the professors. They got kicked out of Harvard because they were like taking LSD and giving LSD to the students, and because they were interested from at first because they were both like really brilliant psychologists. And this was a new substance, and they thought they had sort of like discovered what was going to be the next phase of human evolution, or a nootropic that was going to like completely accelerate the civilization. They get kicked out of Harvard. At the time, Ram Dass's name was Richard Alpert. And so they're like exactly where any of us have been, where we're running into this seemingly like built into the matrix inhibition thing that they currently, what do they call it? Tolerance. And so they're literally drinking LSD, like Sandoz Laboratory 1960s LSD, out of vials, like liquid LSD, drinking it because
not even droppers. Because I did a dropper.
Sipping it out of like shit. They're sipping. Yes. I'm not. Look, it's crazy. There's a great book called The Harvard Psychedelic Club. Yeah, because they were on acid. You do get a tolerance really fast.
Yeah, you do.
But they were running into the same problem, and so Alpert goes to India with a like shit ton of acid that Owsley, have you ever heard of Owsley the bear? It's like the dancing bears on the Grateful Dead. Shit, that's Owsley's nickname. He was the LSD chemist of the Dead, like Steely Dan, Kid Charlemagne. It's a whole song written about him.
Oh wow!
It's he's this famous. I know someone who went with him delivering acid in San Francisco and said, these fucking hippies, they'd come out of their house and they call it pranayama. I think pranayama. They fully bow, prostrating to him. Like, which is why there's a line in the Steely Dan song which is like, did you feel like Jesus? Because he was like blowing everyone's mind. Anyway, he makes a special batch for Alpert, who takes it to India to give to people who've been meditating for, their whole lives, and ask them, what the fuck is this? And, some people loved it. Some people said, this is a waste of time. But he meets his guru. This is one of the famous, crazy fucking stories. And his guru says to him, like, you have something you want to give me. Give it to me. What do you have? And so he gives him this fucking powerful acid to this old man in a blanket who eats it, and no reaction. Nothing happens. He gives him like something for us, for me, that's fetal position, like 500 micrograms of like, that's weeping fetal position. What have I done? I'm never coming down. No response, no reaction. Alpert gets back to the United States, is telling his psychologist friends this story. They're like, he got swindled. He palmed it. He palmed it. He obviously didn't fucking eat. No one's eating 500 micrograms of LSD and having zero reaction. Physiologically impossible. So the next time he's with this guy, Neem Karoli Baba was his name, he says to him, the last time you were here, did you give me something? And he said, yeah, because this guy was telepathic, and there's no other way to put it. And he goes, what did you give me? What did you give me? And he said, LSD. And he said, did I eat it? Do you think I really ate it? Because he knows he's thinking you didn't really eat it. And he's like, give me more, give me more. So he gives him a massive doom dose, like I don't know how many capsules. These are capsules of this stuff.
What does a capsule look like?
You mean like, when you get the, it's in, like a Flintstones
fucking pill.
Okay.
It's a pill, like a dyed pill is the substrate the shit's in. So he's holding it in his hand, taking one, chewing it, taking the other, chewing it, taking the other, chewing it. Then he opens his mouth. So he sees like his tongue is just covered in like blue. and then he now I know people who saw this from the other perspective, because Ram Dass told this story a bunch. It's a cool story. But basically he like goes under his blanket and he starts shaking like he's having a seizure, moaning like, oh! And Ram Dass is like, oh fuck. I just basically just killed an old Indian. Like I just killed him. I killed my guru. I broke an old Indian man who was like trying to flex on me or something. And so then after doing this for a little while, and I know people who saw Ram Dass, who was like about to cry, face pale, probably thinking about lawsuits, probably thinking about like how the Indian authorities might arrest me for this shit. Like, and then he like comes out of his blanket and he's like smiling, goes about his business completely fine. You're just fucking with you're just fucking with him. Like, is this what you wanted me to do? Is this like what you were hoping for? Did you want to see something like that? But anyway, he says to him at the end of this day, he says to him, we used to have something like this in the Indus Valley. He said, this will bring you into the presence of Christ, but the problem is you can't stay there with this. And it was like just the most brilliant articulation of the problem with these substances, which is like it's
Right.
affirming what we all already know. Holy fuck, it's showing me what's inside the Ark of the Covenant. Like I'm seeing past the veil and it's real. Whether or not sober people or people who've never tripped want to believe that, what can we do? But it's real. It's something. You're seeing something more than just like mashing your brain. But also, you can't fucking stay there because it's like we're in school here.
Can I just tell you how fucked up my new tour is? It's completely multimedia, legitimately X rated. There's legal waivers all over the venue because I'm actually worried about getting sued. And I don't give a fuck, man, because it's gnarly and it's all the stuff I wasn't allowed to do on Jackass. So get to my fucking website, stevo.com, and get your tickets, man. Especially with this movie coming out, dude. They're all gonna sell, dude, so hurry up while you can get seats. Yee-hoo!